So welcome to Jimp on Cars. Today just discussing the new change to the rules at junctions, pedestrians taking more priority at junctions. It's not too difficult for us to get our heads around, so a couple of quick tips here, and I'm sure you'll be as familiar with it as you need to be. Just a quick point, if you've not already subscribed to the channel, then please do so. We've got a whole host of stuff coming up, not just to do with learning to drive, other things to do with cars, roads, and keeping it as interesting as possible, really. Quite a variety on the channel. Join us with a subscription and you can join in too. So then, pedestrians at junctions. So I'm just going to continue on down this road here. We've got a junction on the right hand side. Now if there was somebody waiting to cross that junction and I wanted to turn into that junction, then the pedestrian, if they were ready to cross, I would need to let them cross before I entered the junction. That's the big rule change. So that's what we as a car driver need to be more aware of. So how can we do this? How can we do this safely is the big question that I've been asked. And one of the key factors for keeping it safe is to be prepared for it, to have our speed appropriate. I think the only people finding this to be dangerous are the people that are approaching stuff too fast and having to brake too sharply. And of course sharp braking causes all sorts of issues. Now you notice here there were pedestrians waiting to cross the road and we was on a big crossroad junction. So why didn't I wait for any of those guys there? Well, big thing there is they had a box with a button on it. They pushed the button, so there's traffic lights there. Traffic lights are telling us when it's time for the cars to go, and then the traffic lights and the little green man are telling the pedestrians when it's their turn to go. So there's no need for me to be waiting for them or them to be waiting for me. We just all obey what the rules say there. I'm just going to pop the handbrake on. We've got a red light down there, could be here for a while. So first myth then, where there's traffic lights at a junction like that, don't go stopping if the pedestrian's waiting there to cross, because it's a junction. It is a junction, yeah, but let's use the pedestrian crossings. That's what they're there for. Unless the rule changes and we rip down all the pedestrian crossings, then we'll just stick to using those as we have done up to this point. So the other thing, of course, is I'm on a nice straight piece of road here. There could be a pedestrian waiting to cross. Now obviously while there's a queue of traffic, obviously if they've started to cross, I'd let them continue to cross. Now the lights have gone green, I can move off. And you know, if there was somebody standing in front of me, then obviously I wouldn't move off. Just common sense prevails there. Let's go left up towards the train station here. Okay, so let's look ahead then. So we've got a nice straight piece of road here. So anyone wanting to cross this road, well, yeah, normal rules apply. They have to wait for a gap. It's not up to me to give them a gap. That would just make a mockery of the whole road system if we waited. If pedestrians took full priority even on straight bits of road. Okay then, so we've got a corner coming up, coming around towards the train station. Then we've got a roundabout. Now the roundabout has actually got a pedestrian crossing by it, so I'm not expecting to find any issues there. The pedestrians will be using the crossing. Let's get around here safely. We're going left first exit, safe to proceed. There's the pedestrian crossing. So there's pedestrians waiting, and yeah, quite rightly, I didn't stop for them. The lights were green. If I'd have stopped for them, the car behind, that would have been the last thing they were expecting me to do. That would have been particularly dangerous, wouldn't it? And again here we've got a pedestrian waiting on the left. He's waiting at a crossing, he's pushed the button. The lights were green for me. When the lights go red for me and he gets a little green man come up, then he's going to cross the road then. And not before, unless he gets a gap he wants to take. So let's head now in towards the high streets. So we've got a little bit of a queue first. So I hope this is helping. Obviously drop us comments in the comments below. If you've got any queries or questions, I'll do my best to answer them. And of course, if you're liking this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button too. That'll help YouTube to know to show it to a few more people. If you think it's good, then that'll help other people find it. Notice there that I wasn't going to queue across the crossing. Obviously the fella waiting there thought it was his opportunity to go, and the lights were green. And we're not allowed to queue on top of pedestrian crossings, are we? We never have been, we never will be able to. That caused that fella there a little bit of confusion, and he worked his way around it. Okay, now this road here just bears around to the left. I am going to take the road off to the right, even though there's a bit of a queue for me in it. So let's have a look around the corner. Yeah, it is safe, so I can proceed in. If there had been somebody waiting to cross there, of course, then I'd have waited back there in a safe position. I'm not going to wait halfway across the road blocking blocking both sides of the road, just like we normally do when we're waiting to turn right. We wait on our patch of road, don't we, so that oncoming traffic can do what they want to do. All sorts of things stop us from turning right from time to time, and a pedestrian there is just one more thing that might now stop us from turning right from time to time. Okay, so heading down here, you can see the blue signs. We're in a one-way road at the moment. There is a road coming in from the right, no giveaway markings there, nobody coming in. You know, who knows who has to wait for who there. It's just one of those things where we use a bit of common sense. We're in a 20 zone. I'm doing way less than 20. Should be easy enough to work these things out if we're using the appropriate speed. Now notice ahead there is a fellow with his little boy or girl trying to cross the road, and that's absolutely fine. They've got plenty of time to in a 20 zone. That's good, but he didn't have priority there. If I was closer or on a faster piece of road, he had no right to step out into the road. That's not where the rule change is helping things. Okay, so let's continue on down to the traffic lights at the end. See if we can find a junction. I'm going to turn in and out of a couple of junctions and see if we get any pedestrians that are wanting to use those junctions. I can't control the pedestrians. I can put us in some situations where it might happen, and we'll see. So I'm going to turn right here. I'm going to stop at the stop line, and stop start's kicked in, pop the handbrake on, keeps us nice and secure. It's an automatic car, this one. It's quite easy to drive smoothly and safely. So, got a green light. So, you know, there are people potentially wanting to cross the road here, but I've got a green light. You can see they've got pedestrian crossings here. As we've already stated, they're going to continue to use those, as they always have done and as they always will do. Okay, so let me take a side road on the left here. So I'm checking the mirrors, I'm indicating. Now I'm approaching this. If there was a pedestrian there, I'll be prepared to stop just here. There were a couple of pedestrians there, but they're having a chat. These two pedestrians, well, they're not exactly on the junction. They are close to it. If they'd have wanted to cross, well, there's a bit of a grey area, isn't there? Who knows where this new giveaway area begins, where it ends? Well, we know where it begins, but how far away from the junction does it end? Well, I don't know the answer to that one. If you know, tell me. How close to the junction do they have to be for us to be giving way to them? Okay, so we're in a more residential area now. Hopefully trying to find some pedestrians near some junctions. And people who want to cross the road, let's look at how we deal with them. So we've got a road on the left coming up, so I'm going to check the mirrors, signal left, signal nice in good time, start slowing down. Now by approaching this junction in a sensible way, if there were somebody crossing, in fact there is someone crossing a bit further up there, so just ease off, let her finish crossing and then continue on. That was easy enough, wasn't it? I didn't have to put myself in any danger at all there to do that one. That was a pretty lame, easy example. So we're in a more residential part of town now, and we've got a lady wanting to cross the road here. So I just simply need to stop, let her cross, and then I can make my turn in quite safely. All works out quite well. Notice how slow I was approaching that. She didn't want to take the priority. It's up to me to give her the priority, and that's exactly what I did there. And I did have a car behind me, but because I'd approached it, I'd indicated in good time, then the car behind wasn't in any great danger of hitting the back of my car, which is always good to know when you're driving your car. Quite a narrow little area here, so just keeping really quite slow. So we've got another junction coming up ahead of us here. Now there are no pedestrians about here, but I'm coming to the end of the road. But again, if somebody wanted to cross the end of this road, I could simply hold back and allow them the time and the space to do that. Plenty of parked cars around here. So the reason for this rule is to give pedestrians more priority than they're used to having in a dangerous part of the road at a junction. So we can understand why the rule has been brought in, and it just clarifies a situation that we've all kind of been aware of up to this point. We've always had pedestrians in mind at junctions, and if pedestrians have already started to cross, then we've always let them cross before we turn into a road. So it's just expanding upon what was already there, to be honest. We've just extended it now so that when people are waiting to cross, we stop and we allow them to cross. So again, road on the left, so signal nice and early there, and there is a car behind, but I'm slowing down on approach. I'm slowing down, looking into the road, and well, there I didn't have to stop for a pedestrian, did I? I had to stop because there was a van on the wrong side of the road, which is absolutely fine. The van was going around some parked cars. The van driver had no way of knowing I was coming, and I had no way of knowing the van driver was coming. Similar situation really, isn't it? You know, if I'd have been going too fast there, I'd have had to have broken suddenly, and if I'd have broken suddenly, I've got people behind me. There's a level of danger created by that. So we're just, you know, extending that to allow a pedestrian that's waiting to cross to continue to cross the road. Okay, now this giving way to pedestrians also extends to roundabouts, because they are a junction after all. I'm going to go left of this one. So let's enter the roundabout safely. That's my first priority. So I'm looking for a gap in the traffic from the right, which I've just found. And then you can see here there's a place where people could be crossing the road. Now I'd have just stopped back there. I could have partially entered the roundabout, but I could have allowed people to cross the road had there been somebody waiting there to cross. And again, the danger would have been from behind to me. If I'd have been going too fast, stopped suddenly, you know, done something out of the ordinary, then that's when I'm in danger from getting run into from behind. So I can control that, can't I? I can look after my speed. I can be anticipating the potential for having to stop, particularly if I can see pedestrians in the area. So I hope those examples have helped. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've got lots of interesting stuff coming up, and drop us a comment in the comments if you've got any thoughts or observations from what we've talked about in this video here today. It'd be great to get some feedback. Safe driving, and I'll catch you in the next video.